if your life's gone to shit, just like my life has recently, as in right now, you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to be going into 5 things that you should not do when this happens, or at least, at the very least, be mindful of it, because there is a huge tendency of when things are just not working out, you gravitate towards these very, very bad habits. And I know firsthand from especially former careers that I've worked with remote indigenous communities and helping disadvantaged people, the impact that it has. And I just do not want that to happen to myself, despite whatever situation I'm going in. And I don't want that to happen to you. Pretty much all of these are very obvious. It's not that hard to come to these types of conclusions. The first one that we're going to start off with is drugs. And I mean, you should stay away entirely from drugs, or AOD, alcohol and drugs, as much as possible, if in completely off them, especially the hard drugs. And we know what we're talking about. I wanted to spend time on this point because it did remind me of a time when I did a workshop working in Aboriginal support services, where we had an ex addict who was highly dependent on these substances like ketamine he was doing, and a variety of these hard drugs. The story, or the journey of how you will trap yourself into abusing your body and your mind at an accelerated rate. And he was explaining that we all have a medium or a baseline of happiness. It's all different. Like my baseline happiness is maybe slightly higher or lower than yours. Now it's probably at a much lower level than when it used to be, because of my current circumstances in life. But regardless, there still is a baseline of happiness known as the hedonic set point. And when life is just gone to shit for you, like it has for me, it will tilt downwards. It will naturally decrease. And the temptation of allowing drugs or heavy drugs into your life becomes more real. Want to do these things. And that's because that's what's happened. Your baseline of happiness diminishes, and you want to pick that up. So an obvious, or at the time an obvious thing to do or want to do, is drugs, because they will give you an instant dopamine spike. And then we know after you do these things that you will have a dopamine crash, and you will have the complete opposite effect. So if you've got this medium baseline of your happiness, the hedonic set point, and you spike it with the dopamine hit, and then it crashes during the withdrawal, you keep chasing that high, as they say. And what essentially happens is you're spiking and decreasing and spiking, and the addiction starts to happen when your baseline starts to decrease. Your baseline happiness starts to decrease, right? And so it's like a stock market. It's just on this like downward trajectory. And that's why it becomes extremely desirable to want to take abusive substances. And inadvertently, what you will find yourself happening to you is you form an addiction. There are a whole wealth of things that can happen when you are addicted. Not only are you going to start channeling your financial resources in that direction towards that habit, impact people's lives around you and become extremely dysfunctional and irritable, and even if it's prolonged and you develop a severe case of addiction, your withdrawal symptoms will become tremendous. And you will maybe find yourself needing, very specialized and clinical support and assistance and aids and rehabilitation. It's for no reason why disadvantaged people, or when people start experiencing homelessness or severe incident in their life, are highly likely to fall victim into these other abusive substances. And I don't want that happening to you. I take that as an opportunity to reassess your health. Please do yourself a favor and be more mindful of that, and don't go down that route. The second thing that you should not do when your life goes to shit is eat too little, eat too much, incorporating junk food. Easier said than done. It's just out there in the market everywhere. But one thing that really hits you, your life's going to shit, it becomes very easy to mismanage your diet. And that could mean for some people, you're just eating excessively, binge eating. You could also be eating way too little. So changing up your diet habit in a poor manner is not a good idea. You should not do that. You should, if you already had a good diet, okay, you might have, the odd occasion to binge. That's all right. Don't be too hard on yourself, but don't fall victim to creating a new bad habit, especially if you had a really good habit prior with your diet. Be mindful of that, because that can create all kinds of issues, from weight gain to inflammation issues in your joints, your cardio, your cardiovascular system, just your overall health. And it diminishes your immune system if you're not getting the right diet. There's a whole wealth of things that's going to happen to you, and one of the first temptations is to adopt a poor diet. Don't do it. There's no need, especially if you have a good diet. And if you didn't have a good diet, then be mindful of eating too much and too little. So make sure you make that an effort and be very conscientious about these things that you're doing, especially when times get tough. Believe me, I don't want you to go there. I don't want you to be in my situation. And I want to help you recover the way I'm trying to recover, because you're seeing this in real time. The third thing that I really want you to make sure you don't start doing is excessive sleep. Again, once you are in a rut, you're stuck in a rut, your life's just turned to silly putty, and you feel like there's no hope in the world, one of the things that becomes absolutely tempting is to have excessive sleep, to oversleep. And what you find is you went from your traditional, let's just call it 8 hours worth of sleep. Everyone has their own unique number. Some people can operate on like 4 hours of sleep or 3 hours of sleep. I think that's only about 1% in the world. It's very rare. But whatever your normal sleep habits are, you want to retain that. You want to, again, be very conscientious about your sleeping patterns. Write it down, journal it if you need to help. But what you don't want to do is to paralyze yourself in your own bed, feeling sorry for yourself, and feeling like you're catching up on excessive sleep every night. You don't want to feel like you're trying to catch up from poor sleep the night prior or the weekend prior, and all you're doing is trying to catch up. No. Again, once you're impacted and you have issues that are thrown at you, especially if it's in real time, it's quite natural to have some, respite or some sort of pressure valves release or relaxation or anything and everything you can think of. And you might do some of these bad things, but you have to not make them a habit. And if the more mindful you can be from day dot, the better you can be in control on it. The fourth thing that you should not do when life just goes to hell is excessive screen time. That means your phone, your TV, okay, maybe only your laptop if you're doing some sort of constructive work, but give your eyes a break as well. But you do not want to have meaningless, excessive screen time. That's just going to nullify you. That's just going to put you in a zombie mode, especially if you start binge watching, The Sopranos once upon a time, where everyone was trying to binge watch that, or Breaking Bad. Like, you don't want to go into these habits of binge watching, binge consuming. I mean, even getting content on YouTube, it's great. It's great that there's a platform out here like I can go through these things. You can learn other things and valuable skills along the way on the world of the YouTube. But even then, you can get all the answers, but you still have to take action at the end of the day. You even get tired of all that screen time. So do not go down a vicious cycle of excessive screen time. It's going to be extremely tempting when you're really in a rut and you're just sort of on your own, you got nothing to do, and you're just doomsday scrolling and nullifying yourself to extreme levels of no return. It really messes with your mind. I found myself doing this. Even now, sometimes I find myself doing this, but before I was just even worse. Like I was even worse, just not even finding answers, but just being like a zombie in front of this thing, flicking and switching away. I mean, it's horrible. And I also realized from my own experiences, my ability, and this will also have similar impacts on you, is to concentrate for long periods of time from this scrolling on my phone became very difficult because I'm just accustomizing myself to these like few second hits, 1 minute hits. So when you try to give me something to do for 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, forget about it. So don't train yourself in a way that breaks, positive reinforcement of things that you were able to do before, because you've now developed a very short attention span because of a phone. I mean, that's just ludicrous. Don't do it. And the fifth and almost final thing that you shouldn't do, I'm going to give you one more as a bonus, so make sure you stay to the end. But the fifth thing that you should not do, dwell on the past. You should not continuously dwell on the past. If you can, or if you've got a really strong stoic mindset, where you can really control this intelligent piece of equipment called a brain, don't dwell on the past at all. Be in the present, focusing on the future and not behind. I understand. We've all been there. It's like, it seems impossible not to do. But again, you need to be very conscientious of yourself. And that's why I'm trying to give you these 5 things. Is you can try as hard as you want to go through this jigsaw puzzle of your past life and try to put all these pieces together of what went wrong, what went right, who did what, who said what, and you're actually trying to fix it. You're like trying to time travel in your brain. I can tell you, all the mental gymnastics in the world is not going to change anything that happened then. So that's why the present becomes more prominent and the future becomes your trajectory. Learn to accept it. I mean, I've got another video, it's one of my first videos, that goes a little bit more into detail about that and touches on it, about accepting it. But dwelling on the past is, it's there's no end game there. If I catch myself slipping into these thoughts, I almost try to brush them off. I just try to ignore them. I try not to give them air to breathe, and I try to keep myself busy with something else that's more constructive. 5 things that you really need to be mindful of not catching yourself doing when your life goes down the drain. The bonus thing that you should not do when you are in a rut, kick down the curve, up shit creek without a paddle. There's actually so many good ways to say it, which are quite fun. Is don't give up. Just don't give up. It's simple as that. And so you should not do that. Don't give up. You do give up, you're going to be doing steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do give up, that's what you're doing. But if you don't give up, those are the things you're not doing, which we just mentioned. Look, if you're new to my channel, my name's Eddie Bokma. Thank you for joining me. I really enjoy having these conversations and putting content together. Still very much in the learning process, but if you're new here, hope you stick around. If you've seen my other videos before, you know, I hope I keep delivering this content. Do let me know in the comments below what you think of them, and you know, just say g'day. I'd also appreciate that to keep me going and producing these videos for you guys. All right, much love, much appreciation. Keep doing you. Thank you.